Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Spiritual and Rich. I'm your host, Rebecca Wilson, a spiritual mindset coach and manifesting mentor. Today, I'm going to talk about my number one tip when it comes to manifesting. I know there are so many pieces to the puzzle, but this is one of my favorite tips because it's one of my favorite action steps. It's also one of the best places to start. Manifesting can sometimes be like if you have a garden full of weeds and you're like, okay, now I want to put flowers in the garden. So now I want to manifest X, Y, Z. And literally trying to put all these flowers in a garden that's full of weeds. When it comes to my number one tip, which I will share with you in a moment, it's probably something that can be often overlooked because it can be quite uncomfortable. When we are manifesting, what we also need to remember, it's not just about what we want and what we achieve, but it's also very much about the person that we become and the journey there. A lot of us have this destination addiction where we want to be there now. We want to have it now. I know I order something on Amazon, it's literally there like 8 hours later. So it's very normal that we're programmed to thinking that we should have it now. But it's also really part of the journey just to kind of lean into it, relax, enjoy, kind of see what else comes up for you on the way. So my number one tip is awareness. Maybe that's not what you were expecting me to say, but awareness will really help you to get what you want or where you want faster. And the reason that is when you start to take inventory for your life and the different areas of your life, if it's love, if it's work, money, relationships, health, whatever it is, and you start to observe what's in front of you. And I say put your Sherlock Holmes hat on, get curious about what's going on for you. And I know this for myself. I started out very much in the victim mentality. This person did this to me and this was my childhood. And she said that, and then the weather was bad. It was everybody else's fault except my own. And this is disempowering. And I know taking the step of responsibility, being responsible for my life, being responsible for where I was in my life was very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable, I'm not going to lie to you. But what happened was the first time it was uncomfortable. When it comes to manifesting, it's so important to learn to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. And this is one of those places where you're going to be really, really, really uncomfortable. So I started to observe my situation, and what I could see was old programming, old patterning, limiting beliefs that were playing out in front of me. So I'll give you this beautiful example. It's not of me, but there was a girl who earned quite a lot of money, but she could never hold on to that money. It's always seemed that she spent it and she couldn't work out why. Like, didn't matter what she did in regards to investing or saving or learning about those things, she just couldn't hold on to the money. And so they traced that back to her childhood. Her mother and father were having an argument in a restaurant, and her father actually dropped dead and dropped dead of a heart attack in the restaurant as they were arguing about money. So as a child, she connected money with pain, with arguments, with death. And obviously, she didn't want to hold on to that, which is totally natural. This is why when you're thinking, I want this consciously, I want to have a savings account, I want to not spend all the money that I earn. What you're thinking is consciously is not playing out in your life, you need to go into your unconscious. You need to dig a little deeper and see what's going on, because your unconscious is actually running 95% of your life. It's very, very, very powerful. And that's where this awareness starts to come in, being conscious of the unconscious. This happens quite often if somebody is struggling with their weight. It could be that their mother said, make sure you eat everything on your plate. You're a good girl when you eat everything on your plate. So they connect being good with finishing what's on their plate. Doesn't matter if they're not hungry, doesn't matter if they have a stomach pain and it hurts to eat more. It's like, as humans, we are in many cases hardwired for this external validation. And so again, no diet is going to help her. no amount of counting calories is going to help. And if you do lose weight, you're just going to put it back on because you have this unconscious belief, I need to eat everything on my plate. There was also another layer of that was a past life, and she was actually a Polynesian princess, and in these times it was actually seen as successful when you were quite corpulent and voluptuous, and I don't even think I said that right, but you know what I mean. And it showed that you came from actually a wealthy family. So these are the way our unconscious beliefs pay out. And when you know they exist, then you can go in and heal them. So knowing that they exist is one of my top tips. One of my top tips when it comes to manifesting what you want. It's what I do with my clients. It's like getting to the root cause of what is holding them back in their life and why is that so. I had another client who was basically set up for success. You know, done all the healing work, had a really good business foundation, knows his way around business. And when we kind of dug a little deeper, his dad is actually very, very, very successful. And he had a limiting belief. He doesn't want to be like his dad. And anytime like success would come, he would sabotage that because his limiting belief was, I don't want to be like my dad. Your body does what you tell it to do. And so if you say this over and over again, a belief isn't true or not true. It's just something that you tell yourself over and over again. And it can be that you tell yourself that over and over again. That's verbal programming. But it can be that it also happens in like a split second. I recently came across a limiting belief that I had, and it was that it's available to everybody but me. And it's funny how this was only made aware like this week. And I started to have flashes of where that came up for me. And so we lived in this beautiful street. It was so nice with all these manicured lawns. And my parents, God love them, they were working like 7 days a week to provide for us. So they never kind of really had enough time to get around to doing the renovations. My mum ripped up like all the grass, and we just had like dirt. So it'd be like manicure, lawn, dirt. And so I was like, oh, everybody else has a nice house but me. My parents worked so hard. Like, I really, really respect that. But as a child, you obviously perceive that differently. And it's like, oh, they don't have time for me. Like, everybody else's parents have time for them, but mine. And then it was like, oh, all my friends can have a nice boyfriend except for me. And this just kept playing out in so many ways. And so I went in and healed this limiting belief. I was just like, no, I'm done with that. You know, if it's available for my neighbor, if it's available for the guy that makes my lunch down there, if it's available for whoever, Madonna, it's available for me because we all came from the same place. So I totally was just like doing so much energetic work to reprogram this. And then I entered a competition and I freaking won the competition. I've been wanting to win it for like over a year now. It was for a birth chart reading. And so I knew in that moment that I had changed this limiting belief, and I will continue to do the work on that. So we get subconsciously programmed from our environment, from what people say, from experiences, also from past lives. And it's this programming that creates a blueprint. And then our blueprint is the instruction manual for the universe, basically. So your beliefs, you become your beliefs, and then the universe will reflect that for you just to make sure you see that it's true. And so when you take a step back, and it could be that you were somebody in a string of toxic relationships or relationships with emotionally unavailable men. That was me. And so my belief was, I'm not good enough. It's available for everybody but me. And then obviously that's going to play out to me. Do you think that I blamed myself for this? No, I did not. I just blamed their bad behavior, them being a jerk, them being a dickhead. It was all about them. And the reason I'm sharing this is because the minute that I said, okay, when I take responsibility for those situations, really fucking uncomfortable, I will take my power back. I didn't really understand the concept at the time. So I sat there and I was like, okay, he spoke to me with like no respect at all. And then you can only speak to somebody with no respect when that person has no respect for themselves. Do you think I wanted to know that I had no respect for myself? No. I'd been with my husband for 8 years and I did everything for him so he could grow his business. I was the perfect mom. I was the perfect wife. You know, my whole freaking life revolved around him. And he ended up having an affair and was just totally like off, totally off. This is not an easy pill to swallow, but he can only react to my energy. And my energy was, yeah, I'm not good enough. You know, I'm just a boring house mom. These are the things that I was telling. I'm not interesting anymore. And so those beliefs became my truth. So in the end, it's not really his fault. Don't tell him that. He is just reacting to my energy in every single case. So when you are prepared to take responsibility for your life and to be aware of what is playing out in front of your eyes, be aware of your language, be aware if you're gossiping, be aware of the words that you use, the energy behind it. You can choose your words, you can choose the energy that you use, you can choose your thoughts. You cannot choose the way that your body reacts to that, and that is your superpower. So yeah, if you want to take that a step further, feel free just to spend the next 24 hours being aware, being Sherlock Holmes. If you kind of see any patterns coming up, if there's anything in your life that you want to change and you're unable to change, this is a clue. There's a blueprint. What's the blueprint? Let's reprogram it. And that's what I do with my clients every single day, because everybody deserves abundance and success and wealth. It is not for a selected few. It is for everybody, and part of the journey is realizing that. There is something else that I wanted to discuss, and now it completely slipped from my mind. No, it's gone. Okay, I am going to commit to doing a video every day in the work week, and this week is going to be all money mindset. It's so important for women to learn this, to be in control of this. I know there are some women out there who are nailing it. If you are anything like me and just like I had no idea, then stay tuned. There's going to be some amazing tips that I love to share with you. So that is all for now. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.